Hello, I am the OBG. I was in a bit of a serious mood tonight. I don't know why, really tired, sat at my desk falling asleep, and I just thought I'd come out and say something that was on my mind, something that's been there for a while. It's always been there, to be honest. Not from the very early days, since the inception of the Matrix, but ever since, well, I can't even put a date on it really, but the Matrix is a term that so many truthers use, and many other people in general terms, but I don't think they mean it in the same way. And I have a problem with it, and I've always had a problem with it, in that the Matrix to me is just a new term, a new description of the system, you know? I can't think of what the system used to be considered as. I suppose the system is whatever is the zeitgeist, whatever the people of the time are living with, whatever pressures are under, whatever technology also is in place, and we see it as crushing us. And some people claim that they want out of the system, but you can't escape the system. We are the system, and the Matrix is simply a new term for that. So when people say like they want to get out of the Matrix, you have to ask them, where do you go to? What is it that you're trying to escape? Did I say escape? Trying to escape. Now, a lot of the people who use the term for the Matrix as a metaphor, they tend to align that idea with what the film done exactly, in that, not exactly, but metaphorically, that we're being used, our brains in the film are being used. The brains have such low voltage that it would be impossible, you know, they've got all these brains plugged in, but we can't be farmed directly, but indirectly we are being farmed for our energy. There's no doubt about that. So I can see that correlation in that our labor is what feeds and clothes and houses the billionaires of the world. Our labor, which is converted into currency and consumerism, and oftentimes labor directly. So we are these units, there's no doubt about that, but the Matrix itself is simply another word for the system. You don't hear many people saying now that, you know, they don't want to leave the system, they want to leave the Matrix, break out the Matrix, but it's just a wish. How do we break out the Matrix? That's a question that we have to ask ourselves and ask each other. Because the Matrix, as I see it now, and question me if you will, is simply a construct that pulls people in, and it's a massive Hollywood big budget film, so there has to be some brainwashing in there. You don't throw that much money at a film, and it doesn't matter who it's produced by and what their background is. If they've been bought up by Hollywood, then they've sold out. Now, I don't think anyone sells out truly. If you've got a price, or even if you think you haven't got a price and you've done what you consider a good piece of work, and you want it to be seen, and you get offered millions and millions of pounds, and you take that offer up, you haven't sold out. You're just part of the system. But instead of taking your £500 a week wage, you've said, I'm going for the 10 millions. And everyone says, what a sellout. Don't worry about those people. And if you do get such an opportunity, a film has to run past a board of people, which forms into a pyramid, to the person at the top. And that person decides what stays in the film and what you have to cut from the film. And also, another thing that people don't consider is what you have to put in the film. You can see these contracts typically, if I can just go off at a tangent for the moment, with rappers who make it to the top, you know, whether it's Dre, whether it's Eminem, they sign up and it's part of their contract. Now, I found out recently, a lot of them, like Kanye West, revealed they're not allowed to talk about Jesus, so you never hear them talking about God and Jesus. And they make one reference, if you listen to all of their music, kind of pretending a negative about it, or in fact saying something negative, because it's not the God that the people who are controlling them worship. And with those people, they're paid. You hear Eminem mention like film stars and, you know, like idols from the 70s and 80s and 90s films, and that's not part of their rap. That's not part of what they say half the time. They have to inject those in, and you'll find they'll talk about a particular singer or introduce a particular singer or pretend they're even having beef with a singer, and it's always at the time when that singer's releasing a new album or a new song or something. And it's all part of the game, and I'm not against it. I'm just like, that's the way it works. And I'll be critical of it, because sometimes I think, why do we concentrate so many millions or billions, in fact, in total, to negative music? And today, for instance, I actually heard a song. I got this app on my phone, and I use it to play my music, but sometimes when I turn it on, it plays whatever they're trying to sell us. And the very first song that came on, it had a funky little beat, and I thought, oh, I'll leave that on. I was tempted to turn it off, because recently what it does is the first tune it plays is some grime tune, and it's pretty negative, but today was super negative. And I thought to myself, how are we selling this music to young men? Who's buying it up? Who's pushing it forwards? And it's all part of this matrix that I'm going to continue talking about in a moment, because the guy's lyrics were basically about sucking dicks, women are hoes, using the N-word, and it's English. You're English, man. You're an English boy. Why are you using the N-word in the way that the Americans do? He's talking about gats, and he's talking about, you know, like, you know, juking people and stuff. And this kid, he doesn't live that life. He's so far from it, in fact, which is why he's able to make music and be successful. And that's just promoted and promoted and promoted. And it's typically a black culture that's promoted like that, or working class, poor culture that's promoted like that. You can't go into a studio as a young black man or a young working class kid of any nationality after that and say, listen, I've got these really great songs. It's talking about, you know, let's come together, let's build a better environment for ourselves. They're going to push it to the side. This happened with rap music in the 80s and the 90s in the United States. But it's all part of the matrix. So what the matrix has done, once again, like every other divide, whether it's gangs, at political level, blues and reds, Republicans and Democrats, Labour and Conservative, or Bloods and Crips, or just football teams, Arsenal and Tottenham. The Matrix introduced a divide again, and it said, are you a red pill or are you a blue pill? Are you a Labour? Are you Democrat? Republican or Democrat? Are you Labour? Are you Conservative? Are you Arsenal? Are you Tottenham? Are you Apple? Are you PC? Are you Linux? Are you Unix? And it just created the divide. And when people ask me the question, what pill would you take? I say to them, I'll take the purple pill, or none. Because for me, the way that we see this matrix that we claim we're not part of is not to sit on one side as many people do. So they sit on one side and say, well, I've taken the red pill, and then now they've just immediately created a divide because they're claiming that they're different to the blue pill people. The blue pill people, they're no better or no worse. Not I'm saying to pit them against each other, but some people are just content with their lives, and it's just worked out that way for them. They went to school, they took an average education, got an average job, they're getting an average pay, they're buying a house, they're having average holidays, watching average television. And in a way, there's nothing wrong with that, and that's probably one of the happiest places that you can be, instead of fighting to be way above that, or claiming that you're so out of it and trying to be so far away from it that it's contrived and you become this character. So the purple pill, as I would define it, is the mix of the two, so that you can see both sides, or just to take none and understand that it doesn't matter what pill you take, you are who you are and what you are, and you can observe these people who are taking a red or a blue pill, and you can communicate with them and ask them why, and say to them, you claim you're escaping the matrix, but the very matrix that you claim you're not part of has asked you to choose to take a red or a blue pill, and you've taken one of those choices. So you're still part of the matrix. And the question may come up, how do you get out of the matrix? You can't get out of the matrix. We are the matrix. But what we can do to build a better world and a better system, because the matrix, as I said earlier, is simply a synonym for the system, is to become a better person and to envision the change that you want to see, and ask the people around you what they want to see, and see if you can agree and come to some accordance, and to speak and find the questions that need to be asked, and then try to grow those things within the very system that you claim that you're not part of because we're all part of the system. I could sit here and play the rebel all day long, but I'm a rebel inside of the system. And as I've explained before, your freedom is your mind. Everything that you see, everything that you know, everything that you understand, that you love, that you fear, that you hate, everything that you claim that you're not part of, lives inside your head. That's how we see the world. That's the only way we see the world. There's what we believe is an objective reality, but no one knows what that truly is, because we can't truly see it for what it is. If you and I could agree that this is what we're seeing, then we're seeing the same thing, and that's the objective reality. But what reality does, and our reality is reality, let me make that clear first, however you see it is your reality. But the objective reality, what we give a title to, is just a movement of things outside, external to us. And some of them have what we consider or agree with, have form, but even then, we interpret them differently, the same thing. And everything happens inside our heads. Sound, vision, touch, smell, taste, just the 5 senses that we talk about in the main, but we've got all the other senses, and that's a metaphysical which people shied away from because materialists who call themselves scientists want to tell us that they have found out what the world is, and all they do is measure things. They say, right, we've made a measurement here of what we're observing, so this is what is. And once you've made a measurement of something, it's already changed. You've taken an image, a static image of something that is there, what you observed, and then it's gone. And to tell people that this is what is, as scientists want to do, is folly. So we live within a matrix and we can't really truly see what's beyond it. But for the things that we do understand, even coming from the scientists, because they do some good work, we have to work harder at finding the questions that we need to answer to make change. Otherwise, we're going to be stuck within a matrix that we think we understand, and nothing's going to change. I hope that makes sense. I am going to change.